Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Cassidy Car Cave. Hey, we've got some room. Let's get another car in here. But first, this. All right, thanks for coming back. So we do have space in the shop for another car. I've given a few hints about what this might be. Let's go take a look. As some of y'all know, I am a V12 freak. So I had a S600 V12 before, and now I've got its big brother. This is a 2003 Mercedes S600, twin turbo 12-cylinder. So another car that they made that just basically turns gas into noise. Crazy fast is this car. It's even faster than the CL600 somehow, I think. The engines in these are putting out around 500 horsepower, somewhere around 500 foot-pounds of torque, just massive amounts of power. This one actually runs pretty good so far. There's a few typical Mercedes problems with this that we'll talk about. But let's take a look around. I'll show you what I got into. So I've got it parked here next to the Bentley. The Bentley's doing well. There'll be an update on it pretty soon too. Just to kind of give you an idea of the two different companies' takes on super luxury at the time. You know, the S600 was the top of the line in 03 for the W220 line, the newer S-Class model. A lot of pressure on Mercedes because they replaced the older W140 S-Class Mercedes that was probably the best car ever made. Matter of fact, it was such a good car, it's kind of what Lexus stole when they made the LS400 into the LS430. Anyways, Mercedes had a really nice car in the older S-Class. And so when this one came out in early 2000, it had a lot to live up to. And really, this is probably where Mercedes started going in a bad direction. It is so complicated. So many different ECUs and computers, and we'll talk about the ABS system and all the ways that they really just made this car tech savvy, but ruined sort of the Mercedes reliability, the quality that they had before. So, like I said, let's take a look around and we'll talk about it. Huge car, right? Nearly as big as the Bentley. So plenty of comfort. When running well, the ABC system provides a really nice ride in these cars. So you can see it's just about the same length as the Bentley, and the Bentley is huge. These cars normally came with a pretty mundane set of wheels. This one comes with the Lorenzer LM5 20-inch two-piece wheels, and these are actually real Lorenzer wheels. When I got it, I thought they were probably going to be fake, but they're real. So that's nice. You know, if you compare the two cars, I've been telling people the Bentley is drug company. The S600 looks a little bit drug dealer, right? So I don't know if I'll keep those wheels. They're a little bit much for me. I'd love to hear in the comments what y'all think. I have a set of AMG monoblocks I could put on it that maybe would be better for me, but who knows? The tires on it are really nice, so although I'm normally a Michelin guy, these Bridgestones are in pretty good shape, so I'll probably, you know, live with it for a while. But let's get it running first. I'll tell you the story of how I got it. This car came from North Carolina. I bought it from a bank over there. And the only reason that a bank owns a 2003 Mercedes S600 is if somebody wasn't making their payments and they had to repo it, which is exactly what happened to this car. I talked actually to the guy that repoed the car. And the car, I don't know the full story. I don't want to judge anybody, but the person that had the car was either trying to hide it from the Repo Man or his soon-to-be ex-wife. And I guess they thought it would be doable if they took out a few of the fuses, an ECU, and kind of made the car so it couldn't move. Well, the Repo Man don't care. The Repo Man just grabs it and yanks it up on a trailer and goes away with it. So that's exactly what happened with this. I bought it, of course, non-running. I didn't even see it. I just found it on Facebook and made an offer and made a deal on it, had it drug over here. So there were a lot of issues with the way it was repoed and the way that the person tried to hide it from the Repo Man. No issues with the Repo Man. He did his job, but in doing his job, there's some things that just didn't do its best for the car. Really, it's the person that was trying to hide it from the Repo Man's fault. So anyways, let's walk around the car, then I'll tell you what I found and what was going on. It's actually in really nice shape. It's very dirty right now. Sorry, there's a lot of dust that gets in here in the cave. It looks like somebody tried to use a like Armor All type on this plastic, and it's actually kind of starting to mold. Looks pretty gross. But the rest of the car is in pretty nice shape. No big dings or bangs on it. There might be a few little things that I'll get PDR to take care of to get it cleaned up. But all in all, I'm very happy with the way it looks. A nice detailed job will make this car quite a bit better. A lot of little buttons are missing for the keyless entry on the doors. But all in all, I mean, everything's there. It's in better shape than the SL600 it was when I got it. Not going to have to do a whole lot with the body, but definitely going to have to do a lot with the mechanics. Let's take a look at the inside. You can tell me what you think. Xenon headlights on this one, of course. A lot of, top-of-the-line features with the S600. This was sort of the flagship car at the time. This was before the AMG, S63 or S65 came out. So these cars had quite a bit of Mercedes best tech and features at the time. Let's take a look inside. The interior's in nice shape. Everything's good here. It's a little bit dirty, but all in all, it's all there and looking nice. The steering wheel, of course, you get the wood steering wheel in this era. That's pretty common. Navigation that you'll never use, right? Because your phone's better than any navigation that was going on in 2003. But the important thing is everything's here. I'm going to get some new buttons for the steering wheel. These are just tacky and have gotten old. But, the car is in nice shape. These had really fancy headliners. So Alcantara, I'm not sure if that's a fancy German word for suede or not, but pretty nice headliners. Plenty of back seat room. Huge seats. They're, of course, cooled and massaging and heated, and they can recline and such. So the car is in pretty nice shape. Exterior, interior, I can live with it. Just needs to be cleaned up. Engine-wise, I've already had to do some things to it just to even get it to the point where I could show it to you. So when it got here, let's take a look at the engine. I'll show you. Okay, so let's take a look at the engine, and I'll show you what the guy was trying to do, I guess. I don't want to judge. I don't know what was in people's heads, but here's how I found the car. When it was brought over here, this module right here in the driver's side fuse box was gone. It just wasn't there. I think that it had been pulled to try to prevent the car from running, which of course it did. That's the stability control ECP module. And so that was gone, and there were 3 fuses in this fuse box that had been taken out and just weren't there. And then also there's another fuse box over here, and there was a fuse out of here that was just gone. So the way I figured that out is just using a 12-volt test light, hook it up to ground, and it's got a needle on the end of it. I'm sure you've all seen them. Just roll it through each fuse, and when a light comes on and there's not a fuse in that location, there probably should be. So I replaced those 4 fuses. I did a lot of research trying to figure out if I could just order a new ECP module, or if I could get one used, or kind of how it was all going to go, whether it needed to be programmed. And a new one was going to be outrageously expensive. I mean, like $1,400, and then who knows, how long to get one. So I took a chance. I bought one off eBay from a junkyard in Memphis. Wiley Imports is a used Mercedes parts source over in Memphis. They are fantastic. They pulled one off of one of their donor cars, sent it to me, and I had it 2 days later. I think it was $50 or $60, and I popped it in, fit right in. Of course, the pins all match up because it was from an 03, same car. Started the car up, and that problem was solved. So not only was it a cheap fix, but also that module did not have to be programmed to the car. I've got star diagnostics, but I'm not really that confident in my ability to program modules. So that was fantastic that came in and worked. Obviously I had to replace the fuses to get that going. But once all that was done, I had the car running. Now there's a lot more that has to be done to get this car running correctly. So let's pull it over in the bay here and I'll show you what we did to get it going. There's a lift installed now, so that's cool. I'll probably do a shop tour. We'll go through the whole fleet and kind of give an update this weekend. But things are making it a little easier for me over here. So let's get the Mercedes over here and we'll take a look at it. So once I got that module installed and the fuses replaced, I was able to start the car. I was surprised that it did fire right up. Has some issues we'll talk about in a bit, some typical Mercedes issues, especially with the V12s. So I started up and I just did my normal bit where I drive it down through the shop to kind of see what's going on. And it was just, it was ridiculous. You could feel the steering wheel and the front wheels just doing a little mambo right there down the aisleway. So I thought maybe one of the control arms was just terribly worn or ridiculously, a ball joint had come loose or something like that, just from wear and tear. The car's only got 94,000 miles on it, but that's, within the range of something that would be doing that. But what I found was something I've never seen before. Let's put the car up on the lift and I'll show you. So here's what I found that was causing the steering to be a little wonky. Tie rods. It's supposed to be straight. So both of them were completely bent, curved. Just, obviously that's not gonna do anything good. I'll show you, just in case you don't believe me, which I know you do. But here's the new inner and outer tie rods, and this is the old one that was on this side. There we go. So just completely bent. So I'm guessing that what happened was when the repo guy hooked up, he hooked up to the tie rods on both sides and just drug it onto a flatbed or a rollback or something, and bent the heck out of the tie rods. Actually, it wasn't that bad because luckily, you just replace the inner and outer tie rod ends. It wasn't that big deal. Pipe wrench, 27-inch metric. Took an hour maybe to do them both. I didn't do a video because it's pretty simple stuff. And once that was done, I drove the car around again and it was fine. So that part's good. The suspension, I think, is good. The ABC suspension on these, I've done some other videos, can be a nightmare. So far, this one's doing what it should. I did through the rodeo and it passed that. It's not leaking anything, which is amazing. These are all old leaks from other cars. Well, the car's not currently leaking too bad, but there is some typical sort of trouble with it. So let's drop it back down, I'll tell you about it. Okay, so enough delay. What's keeping this Mercedes from running? It's currently in limp mode, check engine lights on. I pulled codes and found out that the one entire bank has misfires. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 cylinders, all complete misfires. So these cars are known to have bad coil packs. You got one here and one here for each side of the V12 engine. These coil packs actually look pretty good to me. They look like they've been replaced or at least rebuilt or something. There's a guy out in Colorado, I think, V12 coil pack. If you Google that, I've used them before. Does great work on rebuilding these. But these coil packs look pretty good to me. The other thing that can go wrong with these cars is the voltage transformer. And that takes 12 volts and kicks up to like 120 volts for the coil packs and for the ignition and everything. And I think that's what's bad on this one. That's this box here on the top. Mercedes has a redesign for this because a lot of these went bad. And usually if your car is throwing all cylinders of one bank as a misfire, I think it tends to be this voltage transformer versus the coil packs. The coil packs will show definitely several cylinders being bad, but if you've got one that's the entire bank, I think it's more likely that it's this voltage transformer. Also, the car's in limp mode. The CL600 I had before had the coil pack trouble, and I repaired those. But even then, it would still run, it just wasn't running very great or very well. This one is in limp mode, so it won't rev, it won't really do anything. So a little bit different symptoms. I'm thinking that it is the voltage transformer on this, but we'll find out tomorrow because I've got one ordered, $450 or something from Mercedes. It'll be here tomorrow. Very simple, 4 bolts. I hope it's that because it's much easier than the coil packs on this car. So that will be what we do next. It's interesting to look at this car though and just see how tightly everything is jammed in there. Get the intercoolers for the turbos, the intakes, the air filters, just massive amounts of space taken up by that 5.5 liter 12-cylinder beast. I've got this one torn apart, but this is the 94 12-cylinder, and it's just, you know, a lot more room. Obviously no turbos, but different technologies, obviously completely different type of engine. And I guess, you know, in 10 years they're going to make some changes. So I'm really excited to get this car on the road. I love these cars. I'm a sucker for any 12-cylinder. I've had a BMW, a couple of them. I've had Mercedes. I've never owned the Jaguar 12-cylinder. I hope I never do because they're maybe even worse than these for maintenance. But I love the 12-cylinder engines. I'm really excited to get this one going, check it out. I think it's going to be a top performer as far as just a cruising car, and that's what I would do with this car. If I love it, I maybe would sell my Lexus, which no one should ever do, and drive this daily, and then, you know, switch out between some of the other ones. So the next step will be to get this voltage transformer replaced, and then we'll kind of see what's wrong next on this car, and make some repair videos, and then I'll do a video of sort of an overall review of it. Look for videos on this car. Look for videos on the Bentley coming up. There's going to be a nice review on that one, I hope. The SL600 here, I still need to finish up the mass airflow wiring. I've got it all torn apart. Hopefully we get that done soon. And then definitely a shop update video where I'll just walk around and kind of show all the cars and the new lift and everything. Mohawk, fantastic. So thank you very much. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for checking out another car with me. And look for more videos soon. Thanks a lot.